welcome back to La Política Latina. As we said in our last segment, this segment is going to be the real unemployment. And how does it affect and how does it impact the Hispanic Latino community? Georgina, this is a hot topic, and I know you love to talk about this topic. And I know you got a lot of information.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us where we're getting our information in case our audience wants to go get it themselves and see that we're talking from the government website?
Well, we're talking from the information that you and I have researched ourselves, and that's one point that I want to bring up. We need to be diligent about reaching our own resources so that we know what they're telling us. They mean the media and the government, and if it's really what is the reality or what they want us to know. And all this data is from the Department of Labor, the government website, and we're going to be giving you all this information at the end of the show. But it's basically the government website on labor and labor information. So all this information is available to anyone that wants to verify it, because some of this data, it's very it's being presented very complicated, so that, in my opinion, what's happening is that some of the real numbers are being hidden, so that we can, so that we can assume that things are really better than they are.
Right.
And not that we want to inflict pain and provoke fear in our community, but we need to know the truth so that we can know exactly how we can solve the issues that we're having.
And we are having great issues. And I love when the president, and once again, he doesn't lie to us, he just doesn't give us the whole truth. Or doesn't give us all the information. If you go into the Department of Labor website, which is where we get all our information from, which comes from the United States government, the United States government says our unemployment rate is 7.7% for the month of February, which has come down tremendously. What they fail to tell us in the media or from the Oval Office or from the White House is that they're not counting 2.6 million people. And they haven't counted 2.6 million people for over a year.
Now, this I'm sorry. That figure is so large for my mind to be wrapped around.
That's the problem.
I can't even. It's like my brain is going, ooh. But anyway, now, what exactly is that figure? Is this people who have been unemployed and gave up finding a job?
2.6 million people are people that have been unemployed, can't find job, have given up. Because they have given up looking for work, they just figured, well, you know what? Let's not even bother counting them. So when you look at the unemployment numbers and they say there's 12,695,000 unemployed, they're not adding the 2.6 million. So when you look at the real unemployment rate, it's over 15 million people. The scary part about this is that when you look at the Hispanic numbers, the numbers the government is giving us, it's 9.6%. The largest unemployment in the United States is between Hispanics, which is 9.6%, and the black community, which is 14.3%. If this was a White House that really cared about, like they so care about the minorities, why aren't they out there trying to really create jobs instead of raising taxes? As we said earlier about the sequestration, this is the money in 100%. And that is the money of sequestration that was taken from us. With all the new taxes that have been added on, with the unemployment rate, with people making $3,653 less per household. Once again, all our numbers, Georgina, come from
the Department of Labor
of the
United States.
We are making 4% less than we were making before. Yet they expect us to live better and tell us that everything's getting better when we are now surviving with taking away more than the government is.
I do have a question for you, and my question is, the issue with the budget is that basically the government is spending too much providing for people.
That's right.
Okay, for those that pay tax and those a big portion of the population that doesn't pay taxes, and that's okay because we are very compassionate people, and that's how we should be. But my question is, if we are decreasing our budget, okay, you would think that we will stimulate the economy more by giving incentive to employers to hire people, so we don't have to spend all this large amount of money supporting people that can find jobs, that don't want to find jobs, and concentrate more on those who do need it, in equipping those who can come into the labor force to go ahead and be trained or whatever, retrained to come into the labor force. Why is it that we are not allowing our economy to grow or to whatever it does more from the point of view of promoting, the economy through employers employing people
than by the government?
Well,
and that is a very good question. And a man that I detest in history is a man that I like to quote a lot, because that's how you know what's really going on. The Che Guevara always said, if you want to control a people, uneducate them. If you want to control a people, give them as little as possible, but give them fear as much as possible. So when you look at our stats of people that are working, if you look at, once again, Department of Labor, if you look at the Department of Labor and you look at the percentage of people that are working, if I remember correctly, the number we looked at was 63% of people from 18 to 55 years old is working. That's all that is working in this country. The rest are living on what the government is giving them, or the minimal the government is living. So what's happening is, if you get used to just 4 cents coming into you, you know that you got to survive on that. Well, if you need to buy something that's worth 5 cents, you can't do it. So what happens? You don't do it. So what we're trying to do as a group is educate the people so that they realize that unless they go out to work so they can make this much money, so they can spend those 5 cents or 6 cents or 10 cents and they still have money left over, we're going to have a nation that is going to get used to living on that much.
That sounds like a couple of nations that I know in Latin America. How about Cuba?
That's right.
Our good friend who just went to a better place, Chavez country, Venezuela.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not in a better place. Hopefully he's not in a better place.
That's true, but that's what people seem to think,
right,
especially those who support his type of government.
Yeah.
That we don't want here. It doesn't work for anybody.
We don't want it here.
Yeah.
But the important thing, Georgina, is that we need to empower the Latino community, the Hispanics, from no matter what part of the area they're from, that they have to go and look at this. Because, as you said, these people someday are going to vote, or these people are part of this economy. And we have to educate them. And you know what? I don't want you to listen to myself or to Georgina. We want to educate you on where you can go get this information on your own. So that when those liberal media tells you, oh, the economy's great, the unemployment is great, well, it really isn't. Anyway, we've run out of our time for today.
This has been a very stimulating conversation, and I feel that we are not just presenting the problem, but we are giving information that can hopefully motivate people to get up and say, hey, for example, the fact that we are becoming a majority in this country is very empowering.
It is very empowering.
Our voice wants to be heard. We are not just depending on the system. We are consumers.
We are consumers. And we, the Latino community in this country, need to become more educated. We need to stop listening to the media, and we need to start looking for our own information. And all this program is ever going to do is give you where to go find that information, what the other side is not giving you. And by the way, this happens whether it's liberal media or conservative media. They only give you one side. We're going to give you both sides. And we're going to tell you where to go get it.
Yes.
Because, yes, we did create 170,000 jobs, but we lost 300,000 jobs. 300,000. And what they always tell us is, well, on every Friday, well, the unemployment application was only 300,000. But at the end of the month, they don't mention that. Mm-hmm. Only thing they mention is how many jobs were created.
Yes. Yes.
So go find out yourself. You are powerful. And remember one thing that George Washington always said: the people in Washington are your servants.
Yes.
They are not your lords. They are not your kings. They are your servants. And that's what we have to remember. So, from John Goya and
Georgina Ortega, just remember that we are becoming the majority voters eventually in this country. We have a lot of power, and we know how to communicate our needs. We just have to get up and do it.